So going back to all your fears for those years of singing, and now here you are. How do you get over that? How did you get over your fear to get up on stage?
Oh, I didn't get over it. It's still there.
How do you deal with it?
That's the thing. It's just kind of making friends with it. It's just like, okay, well, you're gonna be here, so let me figure out how to deal with that. I think I lived so much of my life not allowing myself to live the life that I always wanted. And I know how painful that was for me every day, because it was this voice that constantly told me, go sing, go do this, go do this. And I would either break down and cry, or I would get frustrated and completely like close up and shut down. And so now for me, my desire to live life and my desire to do this outweighs the fear. So it's still there. I still get on stage and like my hands are a little bit shaky, but it's getting better the more repetitions I have. And
sure,
I know we'll talk about, some of the other things from my past, but I was, being in athletics for so long.
Yeah.
I'm taking that mindset into the industry and into music. And it's just like, you have to show up. You got to be on the field. Like you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
And you're not going to die, because that was what I was telling myself for so long is, you're going to die if you get on that stage. That's it. You're going to die. And so now I realize, oh, wait, I'm not going to die. I just have to get through it. And I just have to breathe and just trust.
Welcome, fellow lushes. Come on in, pull up a bar stool, and enjoy some cocktails with Dimples and the Beard.
Because you don't keep a pretty girl waiting. Pretty lady, pretty woman.
Keep a pretty lady waiting.
Pretty lady. I always want to say pretty woman, and it's the fucking name of a movie. Pretty
and then you
lady.
said, I'm not gonna say woman. And then you said,
and then I said it again.
Girl.
And then I said pretty girl, which sounds even worse. Anyway, without further ado, country music sensation.
Time to cowgirl up, bitch.
Whitney Miller. Wet Willie riding fucking water slide. Oh, now you're all professional.
Wow.
Now I'm professional. Now I got the real mic. I got the headphones.
All right. You got to turn that. You got to turn that mic up a little bit though, so we can hear you. That mic's a little quiet.
That one is, yeah. We got to hear better before, but as long as you can hear us.
I can hear you. Can
there
you hear
we
me?
go.
Is that better?
Perfect. Yes, absolutely. We want to hear you. We want to hear you. Nobody's here to hear us. Believe me.
No, I don't know about that. I mean, it's your show.
So before we start, I just want to point out his shirt.
Cowgirl up. That's what I'm talking about. Casa Rosa. Hey, how much time have you spent on Broadway?
We were just there.
We were just there.
So,
you were.
Yeah, we were just there a couple weeks ago. So
and we had to go into her bar to check it out, have a drink, and went to her shop just because I really liked it. I liked her colors. I liked her scheme, and I fell in love with the shirt.
I like it. I'm honestly jealous. I'm going to have to get one of those.
It's going to look a lot better on you than it does on him.
Hey, what?
I mean, that is a female cut shirt, and he just had to have it. I love it. So tonight when we were about to do it, I'm like, she's a Miranda Lambert fan, right? Like you have to put that shirt on.
So true. It's true. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys just making me feel so welcome with the girl shirt. And it looks like you have some margaritas there.
We do. We margarited up for you.
Right.
Cheers to you. Are you drinking with us tonight?
I am just having a strawberry lemon probiotic soda.
Oh, all right. That works too.
Started off so good. Wine. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I did have a wine before this, but I have an early morning writing session, so I figured I would, keep it under wraps for a little bit.
Awesome.
Writing or writing?
Writing.
Gotcha.
Writing songs. Yeah.
So let's introduce our guest, Whitney Miller, country music star, and we came to know of you through Matt Nevesky.
Yes.
He was on our podcast and raved about you. And that's how we found out about you. And then we started to do our research and went, how the did we not know about this woman? There's a lot to know.
She's done so much.
I know.
Like you have a lot to talk about. So do you want to start with country music, since most of the people that watch these things watch the beginning? Let's get that going so that people
Let's do it.
Yeah. So how did the music start? Where did the love of music come from?
Well, let's not forget that you just released a song and video.
Yeah.
I did.
A week ago.
I released my single Diamond Country about a month ago, and then the music video for Diamond Country just came out about a week ago, and CMT premiered it on cmt.com, and Heartland premiered it on their broadcast television. So it was really shocking to me. I just could not believe that this was actually my life, because leading up to this, I don't have the story I've been singing in bars since I was 12, or I was in choir, or I did all of these things. I was absolutely petrified to sing.
Really?
Like my biggest fear, to the upteenth amount that you can imagine.
Yeah.
So, but I've always wanted to sing. When I was 10 years old, someone in my family told me that I couldn't sing, and I took that to heart. And
I'll show you.
I know, right? Well, at that time, it's like, I probably couldn't sing, right? I was 10. I was messing around in the living room. I probably couldn't, but I really internalized that and didn't allow myself to sing ever. I was terrified. And so it completely shut me down. It was my biggest fear. And I did all of these other things to kind of scratch that itch. And finally, Matt Noveski, he was the one that kind of opened that door for me.
What a great
decided, guy. I know, I owe him so much to this, because I would not be where I am.
That's why I'm wearing my Icarus Bell shirt too. So.
I saw your shirt.
Yeah. We got to shout out Matt. We love him.
He's incredible. He's really incredible. And I finally got to the point to where I knew that if I didn't pursue singing and creating music, that I was just living kind of a half-assed life. I wouldn't be doing exactly what I would want to be doing. And I didn't want to be on my deathbed saying, if only you did that. What if?
Right.
And so I started taking vocal lessons, and my vocal coach had me come into Orb Recording Studios in Austin and sing a song, and Matt happened to be there. And he's like, I'm not looking to take on any other artist. It's not where I'm at right now. However, I feel like you have something. And so if you want to go down this path, you just have to tell me, and I'm here to help you.
Wow.
Which, at that point, you think, oh my God, what an amazing opportunity. But here again, this is my biggest fear, y'all. Like totally this. So me saying yes to this wasn't just, yeah, sure, let's give it a shot. It's me going up against my biggest fear every single moment of every single day. And I just kind of adopted this mantra of just say yes. Like, we're not going to do this to yourself anymore. Just keep saying yes and see what happens. And so I said, all right, Matt, let's go. And,
so what's the time frame of like when you hired the vocal coach to meeting Matt?
About, I would say 3 months.
Jeez.
3 months.
So it's like, let's dive in and boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how I go about my life. If you get to know me, it's not a very slow paced thing. It's either like a hell yes or a hell no.
You've never swam in the shallow end, I'm guessing.
No, that's not my style. I want to do a backflip in the deep end. Like
right. I love it.
Yeah.
So he said, let's go. You said, let's go. And then you wrote this song, the Diamond Country with him or not, or with who?
No, I didn't. I wrote a few other songs prior to that we recorded. That's on my website, whitneymillermusic.com. But I actually wrote this song with Penny Painter, who's in my kitchen currently, because she came up to Nashville to work on some new music with me. But I was telling Matt, I'm like, I really want to write with a female writer, because at that point in Austin, I was only working with males, which is great. I had a great time doing that, but there was something that I wanted a perspective from the female perspective. And I just kind of thought maybe it would be different. And sure enough, he connected me with Penny. And ever since that moment, like, we're just writing together constantly. Oh, here she is right here. Bing.
Hi, Penny.
I love it.
That was
like a show. She comes through the curtain.
I love it. Our first cameo.
I love it.
Yeah.
From somebody that wasn't we've had a lot of dog cameos. People's dog end up in but
yeah.
That might be our first person cameo.
Love it.
It's a good one to have. I'll tell you that.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
So obviously you two kicked it off right away.
We absolutely did. And I mean, she walked into the room with my favorite coffee, and it's a very specific favorite coffee that no one would know to order me that. And she ordered it exactly to a T, because that's what she drinks. And so she walked in, I'm like, oh, we are going to be best buds. Let's go.
Perfect. And what was that?
Yeah, what's your
What is
coffee
your
order?
coffee?
So I love my coffee from Summer Moon in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
And it's a quarter cinnamon. Yeah, just a quarter cinnamon.
Okay.
It sounds I'm like, wait a minute, is there more instructions to it? I guess not.
Like, I guess it wasn't that difficult, actually.
Yeah. So anyways, it meant a whole lot to me. Okay?
Right.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So yeah, we got in the writing room that day, and it was either I wanted to write like a sad breakup song, or I wanted to write this big over the top party song in your face. Clearly we went with the former, and it was such a fun write. Such a fun write.
And the video is a lot of fun, and I got to tell you, we're going to work on the bonus points. We'll put the dance on our YouTube channel at some point.
I will hold you to that. If we make that happen, I would die.
He's
Please
the dancer of
do
the
that.
group, so I'll let him do it.
Okay.
With
All
my
right. With your
shirt.
cowgirl up
Absolutely.
shirt. I mean, you already have the shirt. You're halfway there.
I don't have the shiny shorts quite yet.
Don't worry, I can get those for you.
Oh, perfect.
There you go.
Perfect.
Don't you worry. I got your back.
That
All
video is so much fun and so shiny, and it's a lot of fun just to watch.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do. We recorded that outside of Austin at a ghost town, actually, where Westworld was filmed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was a very, very fun time. But it was May in Texas. Sorry, we have another cameo, which is a cat over here trying to get into a box. And another
We love
cameo.
animals.
Yeah, so it was May, so almost 100 degrees, Texas heat, no AC in this like just ghost town, and we brought it. We had so much fun doing it.
You could tell.
Yeah.
You could tell.
Yeah. The video definitely has the same vibe as the song. They
Thank
match.
you.
It's great.
Perfect.
So, definitely going to start the party. So, I know one of your musical influences or loves is Miranda Lambert. Who else kind of inspired your love for country music?
Gretchen Wilson.
Okay.
Gretchen Wilson for sure. I also grew up listening to Patsy Cline and Johnny Cash. I love Bonnie Raitt. I love Susan Tedeschi.
Oh,
So it has that kind of like grungy rock feel.
Yes.
But, I'm from South Texas, born and raised, grew up hunting and fishing. And so if I wasn't listening to country music, I would have been kicked out of the family. So it's just in my blood. So I wanted to just merge those two worlds. And I think that's what you see in Diamond Country. There is like a lot of pop in there as well. But some of the new music coming out is going to be a little more kind of Bonnie Raitt rock country vibe.
Oh,
Okay.
excited to hear it.
And
Thank you.
I know you wrote the ballad with Will from Blue October as well, and
Yeah.
he's obviously a fantastic musician as well. What was that experience like?
That was amazing. I mean, that was early on when we started writing, because he was my guitar instructor too.
Okay.
Which getting guitar lessons from Will Knack is just
Did you play at all
insane.
before that?
Hardly at all.
Okay.
Hardly at all.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was very, very cool. And I'm the type of person that once I find someone or something that I love, I just don't want to like use anybody else. So it's been hard trying to find another guitar instructor
Oh, I bet.
because I'm just like so partial to Will.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what Zoom's for.
yes, that is true. That is true. Thank God for technology.
Yeah.
But that was a great experience too. Just sitting down, we wrote, and that's called Go Ahead and Make It. And we'll be releasing that coming up in the next, probably around March of next year. And the way that his mind works is very different and in a very cool way. He just brings out different emotions and thoughts within you that I feel it's hard for other people to do so. So it was a very comfortable space for us to just like go back and forth on different ideas. It was awesome.
That's cool.
How many songs have you written with him?
I think we have maybe like we have Break Your Heart, Go Ahead and Make It. And I think we have maybe one other that's unfinished.
Okay.
And I mean, I still talk to Will often. And so we
sure.
kind of go back and forth on ideas for songs. And if he has an idea, he'll ask for my input on it and vice versa. And I know he's going to come up to Nashville here and we're going to write some more together and see what else we can create.
gonna say he joined somebody. Who did he join up with? Somebody in the country world. We're not big country music fans, and we fully admit that. So I don't remember who I know he joined up with somebody.
Yeah, so he's playing for Parker McCollum right now.
Okay, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, which is exciting. It's
Yeah,
very
it's
cool.
good for him.
Exciting for him.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, he's
a
amazing.
Great big move. We saw him perform with him over the summer. I think maybe it was 4th of July, and he just crushed it.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna?
So you started out with lessons from him.
Yeah.
Was the intent to write songs to begin with, or learn guitar, or what did one morph to the other?
It kind of just morphed into one another. We started off doing guitar, and then it just kind of went into let's write a song and see what happens. And I think he had some of the chorus already, because at this point, I mean, this is probably almost 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, that we wrote Go Ahead and Make It together. And he had some of the chorus. And then I'm the type of person that really has to write from personal experience. I try to draw on any sort of personal thought or experience or emotion that I have. It's harder for me to put myself in kind of a fantasy world, which I think a lot of people do. And I would love to have a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of like riffed off of, well, this came up for me recently and there was this cute boy. So let's write about that.
That's perfect.
So is Break Your Heart from your experience or from his?
A little bit of both.
A little both? Okay.
Yeah.
A little bit of both. Yeah.
That one's pretty deep.
Yes, it is.
A lot of emotion to that one for sure.
Very much so. Because I think he had the line "Break Your Heart," and we started talking about that. And for me, I've heard that I break hearts, and I don't want to do that.
Maybe we need to explore that avenue. Why do you feel
gosh.
you need to break hearts?
No, I don't want to. That's what I'm saying. And so that was where we just started like diving into that. And it's just like, sometimes you're with somebody and you just know that you're going to end up leaving the relationship, or it's just not going to be right. You just have that kind of gut feeling, even though you don't want to feel that way. And that's kind of how the song was birthed from that, and just diving as deep into that as we possibly could.
Yeah.
And you should have ended it before, but you just hang on too long. Yeah.
Exactly.
We've all been there.
Been there.
Yeah, all been there. That's for sure.
That's what we were thinking. We're like, everyone has to relate to this song of just staying in a relationship a little bit too long, or way too long. One of the two.
Right.
So
that's for sure.
Is there any chance we are we going to hear your voice at all in the background of the Blue October album, since you're I mean, they've got like 3 parts of an album coming out. So.
I know they have so much coming out. I can't wait for it. I mean, if I was in Austin, maybe, but now I moved to Nashville now, and I'm fully in the country pressure cooker.
So
yes, that's a good way to put it. It is a pressure cooker. It seems like the whole city.
Yeah. How long you been in Nashville?
I moved here in January.
Oh, okay. So
getting close to a year.
Okay.
Which is wild. I don't know what happened.
Another one of those, just jump in and go.
So are you out playing the circuit on Broadway then?
No, I'm not playing on Broadway, but I am doing a lot of writers rounds. I probably do a writers rounds once or twice a week. I just played the listening room here recently, and
we saw
they
some
have
of that
another. Yeah, it was so much fun. Great venue.
Yes.
And then I have a big show on Monday for Whiskey Jam.
Yeah.
Which I'm very excited about and pretty nervous. That'll be my first full band show.
Oh, okay. Okay. And what venue is that at?
That's at Winners. It's a bar here in town, but Whiskey Jam is kind of I was talking to someone recently and they're like, oh, wow, that actually Will. I was talking to Will yesterday about it.
Okay.
He's like, that's a rite of passage when people play Whiskey Jam, because if you look at everyone that's played Whiskey Jam, it's astronomical. The people who have CMAs, who have #1 hits, who have really made it big within the industry, they all kind of start on that stage. So fingers crossed. I'll follow that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Awesome.
Good luck to you. That's an exciting thing. So going back to all your fears for all those years of singing, and now here you are. How do you get over that? How did you get over your fear to get up on stage?
Oh, I didn't get over it. It's still there.
How do you deal with it?
That's the thing. It's just kind of making friends with it. It's just like, okay, well, you're going to be here, so let me figure out how to deal with that. I think I lived so much of my life not allowing myself to live the life that I always wanted. And I know how painful that was for me every day, because it was this voice that constantly told me, go sing, go do this, go do this. And I would either break down and cry, or I would get frustrated and completely like close up and shut down. And so now for me, my desire to live life and my desire to do this outweighs the fear. So it's still there. I still get on stage and like my hands are a little bit shaky, but it's getting better the more repetitions I have. And
Sure.
I know we'll talk about, some of the other things from my past, but I was, being in athletics for so long.
Yeah.
I'm taking that mindset into the industry and into music. And it's just like, you have to show up. You got to be on the field. Like you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
And you're not going to die, because that was what I was telling myself for so long, is you're going to die if you get on that stage. That's it. You're going to die. And so now I realize, oh, wait, I'm not going to die. I just have to get through it. And I just have to breathe and just trust.
Yeah. So are you getting more comfortable once you get on stage then? I mean, I know a lot of the musicians we talk to have kind of the same story. They're pretty nervous until the minute they walk on. And then once they get out there, they're in their place and then they feel good. So are you starting to feel that?
Not yet. Not quite yet.
Well, you got till Monday, so
I know, right? I have till Monday.
No pressure.
Yeah. I better figure it out real quick.
Yeah.
No, not for me. It's still very present even when I'm on stage. So I have to either, sometimes I'll close my eyes when I'm singing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just like reminding myself of why I'm doing this and just taking some deep breaths. But the nerves are there from the moment I know that I have a show coming up, for example, Monday, even afterwards, because I also have the fear of people judging my performance.
They will.
And of course, which is obvious. Like, of course they're going to judge my performance. Like that's a part of this whole thing. But even mentally, people coming up to me telling me, oh, you did a good job. My head's like, oh, are they just lying to you? So it's like, it's this whole process for me, and it's definitely getting much better. And I can say that I've never been happier or more excited about how my life is going. So all great. I know is I just keep saying yes to it, and I'm going to show fear what's up.
It had to give you a lot of confidence that Matt Nevesky said, hey, I see something in you.
Yes.
I mean, right there, he's not lying to you. He didn't need to.
Right. And that's what he said. He's like, I don't necessarily even want to take on another artist, but there's something here. So if you want to, let's go. I was like, you're crazy.
Huge confidence.
Well, we'll see if he's crazy or not. I think you're wrong. I don't think he's crazy, but
you're right.
Oh, so going back, let's there's so many things to talk about. You were a professional wake surfer. You were Miss USA. You were a kickboxing commentator. You've been in the ring.
Yeah.
What is the timeline of all that? How does this all come? What came
How
first?
Do you decide what do I do first?
It's like I look back at my life and I feel like I've lived so many different lives and it just pivoted in very different ways. And I think for me, it's just kind of chasing that fun and chasing the experience of it. My parents always told me, Whitney does what she wants to do, even when I was a little girl. And it's true, because I don't necessarily take people's words for it. If you're like, hey, this margarita is really good, I'm the type of person to be like, cool, let me try it. So I know for a fact if I like it or not.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I go through life. And I was crowned Miss Texas. During that time, I was a professional wake surfer.
Oh,
and
wow, okay.
So in college, I was a professional wake surfer. I got a call. They said, hey, do you want to come compete in Miss Texas? And at the time I was like, no, I don't want to do that. But a few days later, as cliche as it sounds, I had this feeling like you have to go do this. Like, just go see what happens, what's the worst that can happen? So a week later, I was borrowing dresses, shoes, heels, filling out my bio, doing the whole thing, went and made a vow to myself to just be as Whitney as possible. Don't try to be something I'm not. And it really worked out well. So I won Miss Texas, and crazy enough, went on to Miss United States, won Miss United States, and was still competing at wake surfing when I was Miss Texas, but then moved on when I was Miss United States.
Okay.
And during that time, I was dating a guy who owned a company called On It, and we had a bunch of fighters that were coming through. And so I just started training, jujitsu and kickboxing, mainly for fitness purposes,
Sure.
but then realized, this is kind of fun and really challenging. So of course, sign me up. Let's be crazy, and decided, okay, when I hand my crown over as Miss United States, I'm going to make an announcement to be the first national beauty pageant winner to go into fighting. And what an idea.
I love it. I love it.
Why wouldn't you?
So I did just that. I handed my crown over and started training jujitsu and took a bunch of jujitsu matches. I'm a blue belt in jujitsu now. And
okay.
And you still train?
I haven't trained in a while. I need to get back on the mats bad. People here in Nashville keep inviting me to the gym. So I think I'm going to have to get back out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Get back out there. But it hurts. That's the one thing that keeps me from it is your joints hurt, your toes will break all the time. And like you get choked out a bunch. It's a whole
Sounds
thing.
Fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is. It's like human chess, but just know that you're going to go home and everything's going to hurt forever as long as you're doing it.
Sure.
So
but
you got in the ring as well, didn't you? You actually had a fight?
I did. Yeah. I went to full fight camp in Thailand, and then I went to full fight camp with Tony Jeffries, a bronze boxing medalist in Santa Monica.
Okay.
And he was my coach for that actual fight. And we did a boxing fight, and she was a veteran fighter. She had like 7 fights. And the thing is, I didn't want people to say, because On It was throwing the fight. So I didn't want them to think, they're just going to put Whitney in there against an opponent, that she can knock out.
Right.
No, I wanted to go in there and like, I had a plan that if I get knocked out, all I know is that if I raise my hand from the canvas, everyone's going to cheer for me. So at least I have that. At least I have that going.
Yeah.
I love it.
Perfect.
Love it.
Yeah.
And so, I stepped in the ring with her, and it went super well. It wasn't necessarily a sanctioned fight, so we can't say that I won, but on the judges' scorecards, I won.
Yeah.
And from there, got a job with Glory Kickboxing and traveled the world as a kickboxing commentator for a couple of years.
Wow.
So you decided that talking about it is not as painful as getting punched in the face.
Exactly. It doesn't hurt as much.
That makes sense.
I can just talk about other people getting punched in the face and not get punched in the face.
Jump after one fight. So that's impressive, to be able to go from one to the other so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
You got any desire to get back into the ring? Because Cowgirl here said he'd fight you.
Oh, man. Cowgirl, you might win. I don't know.
Oh, my God.
No.
Oh, my God. You're the nicest
pretty
person
quick, though.
ever to say that.
I do. I have the itch every once in a while.
Oh, do you really?
If there was some sort of, charity event that made sense for me to step in the ring, I would be like, sign me up.
Well, I know you
punch someone. You just want to punch someone again.
I just like the whole competition aspect of it and training really hard. I enjoy and having like a goal to compete towards.
Well, you know Jason Ellis. You just got to go to Ellis Mania. He'll hook you up with a fight.
It is true. We've talked about me doing Ellis Mania multiple times.
We are big fans of Jason as well. We saw him at our local comedy club, and we were big fans. We've never had him on. We've tried. We're hoping someday, but we love him. He's great.
Yeah, he's amazing.
So that would be a great place. I mean, obviously he'd hook you up with a good fight because
he would. I mean, but they have all kinds of crazy fights.
Right? Exactly. Blindfolded and.
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Duct taped and like just come up with the craziest idea you can think of, and they've probably done it times 10.
Crazy. I know we kind of went right into, but so what got you into the surfing, the wake surfing? And I apologize, I didn't know it was a profession. How do you get college? You said, did you start in college or did you start before that?
I started a little bit before that. I grew up on South Texas in Corpus Christi, so on the coast. I was always on the water. We were, my dad was a professional sailor. He used to race Hobie cats. So all we did was, try to get on the water as much as we possibly could. And so we started wake surfing a little bit, but at that time they didn't have wake surfing boats. So we're wake surfing behind an outboard motor boat, which is clearly not safe, but we figured it out and had a really good time. And we're here to tell the story. So that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. You survived.
Right, exactly. So, we did that, and then I got into college and was in the wakeboarding scene and went to wakeboarding competitions, went to wake surfing competitions, and it was just kind of very similar to Corpus a little bit, because I was in Austin and there was a big lake there, and so there was a big lake life, and I just kind of fell right into it and was competing in wake surfing as much as I could on the weekends. And I was a camp counselor teaching wake surfing and wakeboarding as my summer job in college. And yeah, it was such a good time.
To do something you love, right? I mean, that's can't beat that.
You can't be mad at that. Can't be mad at that at all.
Right?
I miss that here so much, because I still wake surf as much as I can.
Okay.
But it's not as big here in Nashville as it is in Austin. So I just got to figure out how to create it.
There you go.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's something to
I'll
start.
find a way.
Just
I'll find a way.
down the what river is it that we were on? The Columbia River? Is that where we were on the pontoon boat? We took a nice little booze cruise while we were there last weekend or 2 weekends ago.
In Nashville.
Yeah,
Yes.
in Nashville.
Oh.
Yeah, we were just
I
there
don't
2
know what
weeks
lake.
ago.
Yeah, I don't know what river that was.
So
Is it the Cumberland?
could be.
Right.
So that starts.
I don't
with a
really
C.
know.
That makes some sense. That starts with a C.
We
Does it go right
we
through
walked
town?
there from
Right?
Broadway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a Cumberland River.
There
Okay.
you go.
Don't quote me, but
Yeah, we're everybody. Whitney Miller said it. That's what it's called.
yeah, exactly. Everyone's like, she's so dumb. It's not the Cumberland.
Well, here's what I'm finding is a very common theme with you. It seems like you decide you want to try something, and pretty quickly you're really good at it.
Mastering it.
You're going from I'm wake surfing, now I'm professional. I'll be in pageants. Now I'm Miss USA. I'll kickbox. Now I'm a kickboxing commentator going around the world. So with that track record, I kind of feel like the country music thing is going to be like, I just dipped my toes and now I'm the next big thing, Well,
I hope so. I mean, that's what we're hoping for here.
Right.
It seems like the pattern is there for sure.
We're going to give it hell. That's the truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, I don't know what's going to happen. I hardly even know what I'm doing day to day when it comes to this. I feel like I'm just trying to figure it out. I always liken this industry and what I'm doing to gambling. It's just like you're going to throw it out there and see if it hits. And if it doesn't hit, then you just keep rolling the dice.
Yeah.
And that's really the mentality that I'm taking to it. And I'm having a really good time. I'm having, I feel so comfortable in who I am as a person, and sometimes I think, man, if only I would have done this earlier.
Yeah.
And that's been something that's weighs on me every once in a while, but I don't think I would be able to make the music that I'm making now, or know who I want to be as an artist, or be able to stand up for what I believe in.
Yeah, you've lived a life and matured into the artist that you are. So
yeah. And so I don't know if I would have done that if, say, I jumped into it at 22 or 20 or 18 or 25 for that matter.
Sure.
So I'm just kind of trusting.
Life experiences, you wouldn't have had them.
Right.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So it's just trusting that, this is the time to do it. And, we have the foot down on the pedal.
Yeah. And are you I know a lot of musicians now kind of the plan is release single, a couple months later, release another single, and then eventually put them all together and kind of come out with an album, since that keeps people's attention spans longer. Is that kind of the plan with you?
Yeah, I think that is the plan. Again, I'm figuring it out and, playing to my own rules of like, that sounds like a good idea. Let me do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think because I don't have a whole lot of music out there right now, and because people know me from some of the other things that I've done in my life, I think it's really important for me to get music out there quick.
Sure.
So my plan is to release a new single every 4 weeks starting in January.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So it's
That's
going to
ambitious.
be, yeah, exactly. Every time I say that, I'm like, why are you doing that? But you're doing it. We're doing it.
Yeah.
So every 4 weeks starting in January, and then potentially it'll be, all compiled into an album or a double-sided EP or something like that. But really, we're just going to put as much music out there as we can.
Awesome.
Have you found any resistance since, all the things you have done, and people are like, oh, she's just trying to sing. Everybody tries to sing. She's really a boxer, or any resistance for you?
Not that I can say, not that people
Good.
have said to my face. at least, you
Yeah.
know? So I don't know what goes behind closed doors. But for me, not really. I think when I talk to people about that specifically, I hear that it's honestly something that they like because they know that I'm going to put in the work, that it's not something that I'm just going to throw it out there and not worry about it. They're like, okay, excuse me, she's proven that she's a hard worker and that she's ambitious and that, you know, she really like follows things through. So if that's true for this, then that could be really beneficial.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Right.
Good. Well, that's good. You just never know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you never know. And that's something that I have a fear in my own head is that they'll just say, oh, well, you know, you did these other things, so we'll just stick you in that box. But
Right.
me being me, I'm always the one that's like, oh, I'm going to break out of that box. Sweetheart.
Yeah.
You're going to
That box not made
jujitsu out
for
of that
me.
box.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to blow that thing up and set it on fire and then run over it.
There you go. There you go.
Well, and that's the thing, you know, like it's tough. That's so tough being jujitsu, but then scared to go on stage. You know, it's two different things, but you know, mental and physical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, even jujitsu is mental too. But for me,
Right.
it was really about my voice. I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't think I had a good voice. I hated it. Even now, like when I'm on stage, I have to really remind myself, you have a good voice. It's okay. You're supposed to be up here. You know, people like it. You're having a good time. Because for me, the main thing was just people judging me specifically on my voice.
Yeah. And I think the nice thing about, I mean, the different thing, nice thing, whatever, about being an independent artist and not being some major label musician who, you know, everybody loves because there's so much marketing put into it. You know, if people like you, because it's not like somebody's pushing you out all over the place. And you know what I mean? You don't have this false persona or anything. They're just coming to see you and your music. And if they're enjoying it, they like you.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
I mean, that should give you, you know, a little bit of confidence, being that, you know, there's no reason for them to, I mean, you know, like we talked about Matt, no reason for him to like take the chance unless he honestly believed in you. There's no real reason for people to be like, yeah, you're great, unless they think you're great. Right. So
that is very true. Something I have to remind myself.
Yeah.
It's easier said than done. Right.
For sure.
Right. It's
For
just so funny, you know, like humans, we just, at least for me and a lot of people that I talk to, we just constantly go to what the negative is.
Sure.
You know, it's like, it's way easier to pick out all of the ways that we mess up instead of all of the ways we do a really good job.
Oh yeah.
You know, I used to be asked my people that I used to work with, like, tell me 3 things that you could celebrate about yourself. God, it would take him forever. But if I asked you, give me one thing that you messed up on, boom, you got it immediately.
Yeah.
That's a good
And
point.
so it's something that I'm like trying to reframe within myself to boost that confidence.
I hear you.
So is your writing process? You mentioned that you're going to write in the morning, so it's a pre-scheduled.
It is, yes.
Boy, that do you have just ideas going into it, or how do you set yourself up to? How do you not get writer's block?
Yeah, I think for me, kind of what I mentioned earlier is pulling on personal experiences. If I'm trying to create a story out of thin air, it's harder for me.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I have notes in my phone I could just scroll through constantly. So anytime I'm at a show, or if I'm even like sitting here on an interview or talking to a friend, if something comes up that I'm like, that's actually a really good idea, maybe I could write about that. I just write it in my phone. And so tomorrow, I don't necessarily know what we're going to write about. I don't really have, you know, one idea in my head, but maybe something will come up in my dreams tonight. A lot of the times, like, my dreams will bring ideas for songwriting.
Have you woken up in the middle of the night and taken notes?
I have.
Yeah.
Yep. I have. I mean, I've written full songs in my dreams. Now, trying to get it out of my head onto paper while I'm still kind of asleep without losing it, that's what I'm still trying to master.
Nice.
But I'll be in my dream like, God, look at me go. I'm writing this whole song. And it's like, I can't get it out.
Don't wake up. Don't wake up.
Don't wake up. Exactly.
Well,
I would think we're thinking of a song in the shower, and how do you bring your electric phone to write down ideas in the shower? But you know, that's where I get my ideas.
You get a waterproof tablet that you can write on.
There you go.
Or I have waterproof, like they have like a pencil with pad and paper that you can write on. Stick it. Yeah, I literally have that, and that's what I do because I come up with most of my ideas in the shower.
You have to, yeah.
if I have like a melody or something in the shower, I will get out of the shower, water everywhere, grab my phone, and like a lot of my voice recordings, you just hear shower in the background.
Nice,
Because
nice.
it's just me trying to not forget the melody that I just came up with.
Sure.
Showers like if there's one favorite place on the planet, I think it's a shower.
Yeah.
And you hear that a lot because, you know, like the science behind it, and that the task of showering apparently is so easy and so repetitious that you kind of disassociate from everything else. And that's why you're able to bring all that stuff out.
Interesting.
Like it just kind of comes to you because you can do this in your sleep, you know? So all of a sudden you're just, because let's face it, we all in the shower, you will come up with the most, that's where you have all life's epitome or epiphanies, right?
Right.
Like, they all come to you there. So,
and then I dry off and I'm like, what did I think?
Yeah. What was that? Yeah. And then it's too late. That's why you got to write it down in the shower.
Listen,
that's really interesting.
Mr. Analysis over here. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I know. Good to know. I have wondered that before. Like, why is the shower such an idea?
I probably saw that on Joe Rogan. I'm just, I gotta be honest.
It's okay.
You probably messed it up.
Probably.
None of it's true.
Oh,
he just made it up.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's all a lie.
It
Don't
sounded
worry.
good.
We
Sell
believe
the
you.
lie. That's what we do.
And I just gotta say, when you're writing songs tomorrow morning, just remember the beard rhymes with weird. So if you wanna, just to help you out, you know, if you want to write about this experience, I won't take offense.
The weird beard.
Yeah.
Okay. I
So
like where you're going
I
with
don't
that.
know what rhymes with dimples.
Pimples.
Please don't do that.
Simple.
Yeah.
You look pretty simple in that
Nipples.
shirt.
Simple. I can go with simple. Let's leave pimples out.
Oh goodness. Oh goodness.
I have faith.
This will be a really interesting song.
Yeah, what wouldn't it?
You know what the worst part for you tomorrow morning is? You're gonna be like, God damn it, now I'm thinking about that.
I am. That's the thing. I'm going to wake up and start thinking about pimples and dimples and the weird beard.
I hate those guys.
Get out of my head.
Maybe that'll spark a really good song
There
though.
you
So
go.
we'll see.
There
It'll
you
it'll
go.
spark a scary song for Halloween coming up or
There you
something,
go.
or a horror dream.
There you
song.
go. So you've also been in the world of podcasting. Is your podcast coming back at any time?
I'm going to start my own
Okay.
separate of that. So that was, I feel like that chapter is closed for me,
Sure.
Okay.
particularly when it comes to True Sex and Wild Love, just because I really enjoyed it. We had a great time. My co-host that I had, she's moving on to different things. I was moving on to music and, moving out of the state and just kind of trying to figure out what my life was going to be. And
Yeah.
so now I'm in a place where I want to start my own show that encompasses just, lifestyle and people that I find interesting. And yeah, we'll talk about love and relationships, but also bring on artists and songwriters. And I just want to talk about things that interest me. And I've always had a good time podcasting. Our last podcast was super successful. And I just think it'll be a really cool thing to add to my repertoire when it comes to being an artist as well. Cause you really don't see a whole lot of artists hosting their own shows.
Right. Yeah. And you have obviously you have a bevy of talent to pull from in Nashville. I mean, a lot of local, we've Monica Llewellyn is a local musician in Nashville who we've had on the show and who we just went back. And that's, not the reason we went, but we saw her a couple times while we were back and she's fantastic. And it was a great interview, has
Great singer.
so much music in her head. So there's just so much to pull from out there. So
it seemed like you had kind of two podcasts, because the first one was kind of your journey early on, right? With your transition or your training. What was it?
Oh, yeah. So that was like a YouTube series that we did for that.
Combat journey or something, right?
Yeah, the combat journey was like a YouTube series that we had. We
Okay.
started like a little bit of a podcast with that, but I don't even really count that one.
Gotcha.
But it was mainly a YouTube series that just followed my transition from like pageants into, I think we called it like tiaras to tap outs.
That's what
or
it was,
something.
Perfect. Perfect.
I was watching them on YouTube, so that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which was fun. I mean, I loved doing that as well. But that was just like one kind of docu series of that.
Okay.
And then we moved into the love and relationship space with my co-host Wednesday Martin.
So
Nice.
what prompted that? I want to talk about relationships and sex and that stuff to the public.
Yeah, I've been, like we talked about, I've been one that to push the boundaries all the time. And I hate that a lot of those topics are taboo.
Mhm.
I don't personally think that they should be taboo.
Yeah.
Because if you're not thinking about, if you're not thinking about sex, you're probably thinking about how you're going to get it, or how you're not getting enough, or how you don't want to have it anymore. And, I met my co-host, Dr. Wednesday Martin, and she's a social scientist who specializes in female sexuality and female infidelity. And she had a book called Untrue that was just mind-boggling on the science, the new science of female infidelity and monogamy and all of that. And I knew that I wanted her to be my co-host, that she would bring a really cool kind of scientific backing and data-driven backing to the podcast. And she agreed. And so we just went with it. And we had all kinds of different experts, from doctors to scientists to researchers to escorts to authors and business owners and everything
Jason
in
and
between.
Katie.
Jason and Katie were on there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
it wasn't like your subject matters were lightly brought in. It was, let's go into the good stuff. Let's just talk about the right stuff. Yeah.
Right. We didn't want to sugarcoat it. It's like, if you're coming to listen to the podcast, you're going to hear a really honest, raw, no boundary type of conversation. And it was a lot of fun to do that. And I learned so much. I met so many amazing people, and people, still recognize me from the show, which is awesome, because it means that we're, sharing a story and a narrative that a lot of people are either too afraid to hear or to share on their own, or they just don't have access to it.
Sure.
Well, I think that's it. A lot of people don't know where to look for it to learn about it.
And I think
and you had a good 40 episodes out there. So you had a lot of subject matter.
Yeah. I think we maybe even have more than that. I can't quite remember, but where we're at with that, but we had a good amount.
Your statement about the fact that everybody's either thinking about sex or wanting sex, is obvious in how popular the podcast was, because you guys were, over 1 million downloads, and it's hard. We know it's hard to get that kind of an audience. So that's incredible.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. I think people are still listening to it. I think we're close to 2 million downloads at this point.
Well, I can tell you, I'm going to be going back and listening to some of it, because I just found out about it. So, and I listened to a little bit of Jason and Katie, because I love Jason and Katie, but so I'm definitely going to go back and check some more of it out, because it's a good podcast for sure.
Thank you. It was a good time. It'll ruffle some feathers, but I think at the end of the day, that's good.
It's good.
Why live in this little comfortable little life? Sometimes you just need to have your feathers ruffled.
Feathers need to be ruffled. Believe me. We had another Miller on last night. Christy Miller. She's a comedian, and she's a feather ruffler.
She ruffled a lot of feathers.
She's fantastic. So
us Millers, you never know what you're gonna get. We'll keep you on your toes.
We like it.
So I got gun to your head. Which city's better, Austin or Nashville?
Right now, I would say Nashville.
Yeah.
And I hate saying that, because, I'm a born and raised Texan.
Yeah.
And if someone were to ask me that and they didn't see this podcast, I would probably lie and say Austin. No, I'm just kidding. I actually I like Nashville. I always say that Nashville's Austin like 7 years ago.
Okay.
And so it's like still keeping up. It still has like some of its charm. Austin is just crazy right now. It's almost unrecognizable about how the city is. So many people moving there, which is just awesome. But when we talk about music, you have to go searching for the music there. Here it slaps you in the face. Like you can't,
everywhere.
You would have to be like running for miles just to get away from live music here in Nashville.
Yeah.
And Austin, you better go searching for it.
I was going to say, comedy seems to have taken over Austin. So it's a giant comedy scene now, but
comedy is really big. Tech is really big.
Yeah. That's sure.
A bunch of businesses are coming in, which is cool too. But, for me, there's no other place in the world that I feel like I could be or would want to be for what I'm doing.
Yeah. You got any favorite local hangouts in Nashville since you moved there? I was just there for the second time this year, and I love Sun Diner. Such a great.
I haven't been there.
Great breakfast spot.
Okay, noted.
Yeah, and then my favorites on Broadway. I love the Mellow Mushroom and Nudies are my two favorites that I've been in. So
I really like Kid Rocks on Broadway.
yeah.
Gosh, I do.
It's such a cool stage.
It's such a cool stage. It's pretty like redneck, and I love that. And
Yeah.
it's loud and it's in your face.
It is loud. Yes.
So yeah, that's probably my go-to when it comes to Broadway. But I also love like 12:30 Club, real swanky.
Okay.
I can get down swanky with velvet chairs and things like that.
Nice.
Trying to think what else on Broadway I like, but those are probably my.
We spent an evening on Printer's Alley that was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be really nice.
Yeah.
No.
The Boogie Bar, Boogie and Blues Bar.
Blues Bar.
Yeah. Something like that.
If you haven't been, we had a blast. We ended up we tried to move around and have like a drink or two and move on. We stayed for hours.
Oh, we were there for hours, yeah.
Just because it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Great band, just a neat layout.
Yeah.
So Printer's Alley, I really enjoyed.
I hear really good things. I have not explored Printer's Alley like I should. I've been to one place, but I'm blanking on the name right now.
Sure.
But I do send people there. Like I act like I know what I'm talking about. People come and ask me, "What should we do? It's off Broadway." I'm like, "Well, you go to Printer's Alley. It's supposed to be really cool. They have great jazz bands and blues bands, and it's just a completely different vibe than Broadway." But maybe one day I'll stop talking out of my butt and really go figure it out.
You want to go see country. Right now you're in the country. Yeah.
Exactly.
You got plenty of time. It's not going anywhere.
It's not
true.
And I was surprised. I was there in February, and then we were just there, and just how much busier it was just in 10 months was just shocking. And I get the weather's a little better, so that's part of it. But I feel like Nashville, tourist wise, just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
It's mind boggling. Like you'll look down Broadway at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon, and it's just slammed, and people are hammered and hooting and hollering, and like it is wild. I've never seen anything like it.
No, what surprised me is I would get up and it's like 10 o'clock. Those moving taverns were already going. People are playing, and it's like they're ready to go. I mean, it's full on go. So
there's like there's hardly any off switch here, and if there is, it's for like a 30-minute period.
When
the people go home to change and then come right back out.
Come back.
Yep.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Legends. I loved Legends.
Yeah.
It
was a cool bar too. Yep.
That was one of my favorites. And I really liked Alan Jackson's bar.
I did too. Yeah. There's a lot. I mean, everything down there is fantastic.
AJ's.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly the name. I can't remember. There's so many of them down there. It's hard to remember what's.
Yeah, and they just keep popping up.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. So.
No kidding.
So what's next? Where are you going? Will you be touring?
Hopefully. I don't have anything in the books just yet.
Okay.
But right now, I'm in the studio today and tomorrow, and we're working on all of these new songs. The next song we'll be releasing is called 15 Minutes of Fame.
Okay.
And so we're just going to be, powering through those songs, and I'd love to do a little tour. So that's definitely in the cards coming up. I'll let you guys know.
Absolutely.
Nice.
We'll have some fun with that.
Do you have a time frame on your new podcast, or it's just in the starting stages?
It's in the starting stages. It's just me sitting down in front of the mic and making it happen.
Okay.
It's like I have some resistance to it because I'm so used to having a co-host that I'm dealing with. Oh, maybe you're not going to be good enough without a co-host. It's all those like dumb fears that I continue to work through every single day.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm all set up. I'm ready to go. I know how to run a podcast already, because I've already done it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So if you just want to give me some encouragement, I'll make it happen.
Well, from talking to you, you're going to do a wonderful job.
Yeah, right.
You.
I was going to say you have two views every week for sure.
Yeah.
So,
right on. That's all I need.
Yeah. So
very natural. You're very natural talking, and just very natural. I guess that's the best way to put
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
I'll take that and use it as my fuel. It's
There you
just
go.
crazy how like resistance and procrastination and all that works.
You're your own worst enemy, aren't you? Sometimes, or all of us is what I guess.
Well, yeah. I mean, we wanted to start this for a year or two before we actually did, and now we, go back and kick ourselves because now we're, so
Right.
we could be. We're coming up on episode 100, so we're.
Ooh, congratulations!
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you. Yeah.
pretty exciting. We got some big plans in the works for episode 100, so we're
Just keep going on.
Right on. How far are you guys away from that?
this
10.
you'll be episode 90 or 91, somewhere in there.
Ooh, yeah, you're right around the corner.
I think we're going to record we'll record the episode the week between Christmas and New Year.
Perfect.
So,
Congrats.
Yeah.
Thank
That's
you. Thank
huge.
you.
Yeah. People don't understand, like, getting past, there's like some crazy stat about how many podcasts fail before episode 13.
Is that what it is? 13?
90% of podcasts don't make it past 13% or 13 episodes or something like that. It's insane. It's some astronomical number.
Well, if we were going to fail, it was going to be after episode 14, because our first 13 were audio only. Number 14 was our first guest. We booked a Playboy Playmate. Our first guest, it was going to be our first one on video, and I forgot to turn the fucking camera on.
Oh, hell.
So you talk about dwelling on the failures. That one sticks with me more than any of the great episodes we've had.
Absolutely.
Right?
And then having to tell her, oops, sorry.
Right.
Your beautiful face, we forgot to.
Didn't quite make it.
Yeah.
Didn't make the episode.
Sorry. But you know what? Growing pains. Now look how professional we are.
Well, that's the thing. If you can't look back, that's what I was talking about my podcast. When I look at my podcast, if you can't look back at episode 1 and be like, oh my God, that was a disaster. We suck. Then you're doing something wrong, because you need to look back at your first episodes or your first songs or your first whatever and say, like, Jesus, I can't believe I put that out. Because that just means you're getting better.
Yeah. And it's funny. I can remember when we put it out and we had 3 or 4 out, and you're promoting, like, you want people just go listen to the first one. I would never recommend somebody listen to the first one now. Please don't.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right. Well,
what I want to touch on, because I'm not sure, but you're a transitional coach.
I was. I don't know. Not a transitional coach.
Okay.
I was more
Transformational.
Transformational. Yeah. It was more along the lines. It was mainly love and relationships.
Okay.
And then it kind of turned into dealing with fear and, transforming into, exactly who it is that you want to be, and just giving like a different perspective to people. I don't do that anymore.
Okay.
But it was something I worked with CEOs, celebrities, Olympic athletes, Hall of Famers. It was a very rewarding client base that I had, and a very rewarding job that I had for so long, because you really get deep with people, and for me, my goal was to give them a very unbiased, very truthful perspective and a little bit of guidance, but in order for them to make their own decisions. I'm not here to tell you how you should live your life. And I'm certainly not going to tell anybody that, because it's their life. They get to decide, for themselves. But sometimes just having like a slightly different perspective can help with that. And it was a lot of fun. And then I got to the point where I realized I wanted to do music so badly that I wasn't able to be as present for them as I think I should have been. And so at the end of the day, I felt like I was doing a disservice. So I knew I needed to step back from the practice and fully, dive into music.
Go for it. And go for it.
I was just curious if you still did it.
Dive into the deep end of the pool.
No, I still get messages about it. Hey, Whitney, are you still coaching? I still, get messages from old clients and new people wondering if that's still something I do, but I don't. It's not where my heart is right now.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it makes sense. If your heart's not in it, that doesn't pay to do it.
Yeah. And I just had
for
to
you
listen
or
to
them.
that. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. Either one. I mean, you both have to be, when you're working with somebody in that intimate of a container, you have to be there. Like, nothing in your life, nothing in my life matters. My bias or thoughts or opinions or emotions do not matter when it comes to that. You just have to be like so clear. And it got to a point to where I didn't feel like I could do that. So I had to listen to it. It was scary because it was a very successul business and I fully enjoyed doing it. But I just knew. I just
had to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
All right. My last compliment to you is my so far favorite song of yours is "Let's Do It Wrong."
Ooh, thank you.
I listened to that one over and over a couple times, and I really enjoy that one. And it's just the deep and a fun song at the same time. I don't know how else let's say it. For me, anyways.
Yeah, I love that song. That was one of my very first songs. I originally was gonna write that as more of like a tongue-in-cheek song, and then it became very real. Then it just like got down to like the depth of it. And I wrote that with Paco Estrada out of Dallas.
Okay.
Who Matt knows pretty well as well. And yeah, it's one of my favorite songs too. And it's funny that you mentioned that. I did an interview maybe last week, and the guy that was hosting the interview said the same thing.
Oh,
So
okay.
maybe I'll have to release that one. You know, I
There-
haven't thought about that in a while, but
Well,
I might have to do that. Might
There
have
you
to do
go.
that.
well,
It's
I'll
it's a
cowgirl
sign.
up and put it
Cowgirl
out
up,
there.
I think
dive
it's a
into the deep
sign
end
that-
of the pool and go for it.
Two separate
Right.
people bring it up, and within a
Right.
week, that's kind of a sign. So
I know.
it's
I
a
know.
wonderful. I love it. So anyway,
Thank you.
I just wanted to make sure I complimented you on that song.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that you listen to that music on there, because those are my first ones, and I go back and listen like, oh God.
Sure.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, isn't that the truth?
Mhm.
It's hard. It's
They'll
hard.
all get better.
Yes, we're on the up.
Well, thank you so much for giving us some time. We really appreciate it.
Oh, so much appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This has
Yeah, you
been
bet.
fun.
It was a
Very
blast.
fun.
So promo away. Promo anything you want to promo, and we'll.
All right, I will. You guys can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of the things. It's Wit in Love, WHITNLOVE, and I'm playing Whiskey Jam. You know, here I don't know when this comes out, but
Yeah,
I'm
it'll be after that. You've already played
Okay.
Whiskey Jam.
Yeah.
I already played Whiskey Jam, and we completely crushed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so new music will be coming out in January, and you can look at my website and see some of the other music that we did at WhitneyMillerMusic.com.
Perfect.
You're looking forward to it every 4 weeks.
Every 4
A new
weeks.
song. That'll be awesome.
That's
We're-
right. We're gonna
we're-
go for it.
We're watching the channel. We're subscribed. We're watching the channel, so we're gonna know.
Awesome. Thank
Thank
you
you.
guys so much.
Thank you, Whitney.
Enjoy. Have a great night.
Bye,
Say
y'all.
good night to Penny.
Yes.
I will for sure.
Have a good night.
Bye. Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. The tavern is closed for now, but we'd love to have you back for more fun next time. Seriously though, get your asses out of here.